Welcome back to Munchausen's Proxy, where we have been contemplating the utter show that is Disney Marvel as we end 2023. To say that this year was a train wreck would be putting lipstick on a pig. Disney Marvel, almost single-handedly given the state of Warner Brothers DC Studios at the moment, has utterly destroyed the superhero film genre. How, you might ask? By massively oversupplying a market that could only take so much. That's how. What's worse is, that supply has been nothing but complete and total for over 4 years now. The only good Disney Marvel movie they have released since Avengers Endgame was Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Funny enough, it is also the only movie that has made a profit since Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I will go through what Disney Marvel have done to get us where we are now that their multiverse saga is completely buggered, and then suggest what they should do and what I think they will do. But that right there has been the problem this year and last year. Multiverse. Multiverses are a writing gimmick used by writers with little talent who are trying to cover up that fact. At least, they are in the context of Marvel Studios at the moment. Spider-Man No Way Home managed to do multiverses in a thoughtful and engaging way that both used the gimmick and brought in some much-wanted fan service for the fans. Sony's Spider-Man franchises always seem to end abruptly. Thus, we never got a satisfying conclusion to Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man after the mess that was Spider-Man 3, despite the complete awesomeness that was Spider-Man 1 and 2. Likewise, we never got a follow-up Amazing Spider-Man 3 with Andrew Garfield. All we got was a dead Gwen Stacy and an end scene that showed Spidey getting ready to go up against the Rhino. Not really getting to see the fight, just the start of it. No Way Home sort of gave fans some closure on both of those franchises while stoking the fires of desire to see more from all three Spider-Men. What followed was Disney Marvel managing to do multiverses in all the wrong ways. Multiverse of Madness was a bait-and-switch job that took a Doctor Strange movie and made the Sorcerer Supreme not only not the Sorcerer Supreme, but a passenger in his own sequel, while Scarlet Witch was turned into a bad guy. Girl? And a new character that nobody asked for, and never was any good even in the comics, was introduced in the form of America Chavez. Multiverse of Madness represented the second clumsy launch point of the supposed multiversal saga of the Marvel Cinematic Universe's Phase 5 after No Way Home was supposed to start it. Thor came next, and was also bait-and-switched in his own movie, while Taika Waititi purposely deconstructed Thor yet again. Oh, and they decided to completely ditch the whole multiverse thing for this movie. Weird. Every movie in phases 1 through 3 of the MCU in some small way built up towards Thanos and Endgame. It was almost like this whole multiverse thing was not really that important. The same thing with the next movie, Black Panther 2. Leaning heavily on the death of Chadwick Boseman to drive audiences to theaters, it was a film that seriously f***ed up Namor, turning him from an Atlantean into a Mexican for reasons? Probably reasons having to do with lawyers and intellectual property rights instead of creative choices based on Namor's near-century-old history in the comic books. Black Panther 2 was not good, and also introduced a character that has done poorly in the comic books, Ironheart, aka Riri Williams. And now we were firmly into Marvel Comics' retcon, all new, all different, where Marvel tried to replace all of their established characters with newer, diverser, inclusiver characters that began the comic book industry's collapse and their subjugation by Japanese manga. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania came next, and was also supposed to launch the multiverse saga. This was also the first film appearance by the big bad of the saga, Kang. Kang was disappointing, just as he had been when he showed up at the end of the Loki series finale and was easily killed by female Loki. Like that show and Doctor Strange 2 and Thor 4, Ant-Man was upstaged in his own movie by 3 strong female characters surrounding him: his girlfriend, his girlfriend's mother, and his massively annoying, yet somehow seemingly genius activist daughter. Ant-Man 3 was a CGI crapfest and wound up losing the studio money. A lot of money. Like a buttload of money. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 followed that up and did something nothing since Endgame managed. To be good. Oh, and draw audiences to theaters and have them leave mostly satisfied. Most of that was due to it being James Gunn's last hurrah for Disney Marvel, before he went to take over DC Studios. And it had 0 multiverse plot points. None. It was square in the middle of their multiverse saga, and there was not a single element that advanced the driving narrative thread of this part of the MCU story. Not even an end credit scene. And finally, we had the Marvels. A movie everyone knew was going to be a disaster the second it was announced. The Marvels was originally Captain Marvel 2. But the studio realized that Brie Larson's Captain Marvel was so unpopular that they needed something to bolster her, since they would not be able to use the clever marketing gimmick they used to turn a crap movie like Captain Marvel into a billion-dollar movie. Only being sandwiched between 2 of the most lucrative films of the MCU and telling everyone that they had to see it to understand Endgame made Captain Marvel $1 billion. That would not be the case this time. So they stuck 2 characters nobody liked from the all-new, all-different comic books and figured that would do it. Oh, and they introduced both in Disney Plus series, but hardly anyone saw those, especially Ms. Marvel. Like Ant-Man 3, the Marvels bombed. It bombed so hard that Disney Marvel announced they would stop giving out box office numbers on it less than a month after it was released. The film would struggle to cross the $200 million mark worldwide, on a budget somewhere over $300 million. But it did have a multiverse angle at the end of the movie. So it had that going for it. Why am I rehashing things I have already gone over in other videos, you might ask? Well, as my short the other day announced, the actor who played Kang in Loki and Ant-Man 3 was convicted of beating his girlfriend on Monday, December 18th, and Marvel promptly fired him. Jonathan Majors is facing a year in prison / county jail. It was on the fortuitous side for Disney Marvel, actually, because fans were not buying into the whole multiverse saga anyway. Kang had already been killed 3 times in movies and Disney Plus shows. Why would fans think his idiotic ass could face the full might of the assembled Avengers? Well, the assembled might of the old Avengers, definitely not. Nobody knows who the new Avengers will be, but we are all pretty sure they will be lame, possibly gay, and almost certainly female-dominated given the current Disney trendlines. If even South Park is noticing that, it is definitely a likelihood. In the wake of Major's conviction and firing by Marvel, speculation has run rampant about what Disney Marvel will do about losing its big bad for this era of the MCU going forward. Everyone from Disney Star Wars' Finn actor John Boyega to the actress who played Ravonna Renslayer on Loki Season 2 have been mentioned as possible replacements. None of them would be a great choice for a character that was not clicking. There was already rampant speculation about replacing Kang altogether, since he was not doing it for most fans. Recastings or shifting to a different villain have been tossed around various nerd forums. The most common replacement theory has been the straight swapping of Kang for Doctor Doom, especially since the Fantastic Four will soon be introduced to the MCU. I will break my thoughts down into 3 sections. What Disney Marvel should do, even though I know they won't. What they should do if they don't do what I think they really should do. And what I think they will do. First, what they should do, but I doubt anyone at Disney Marvel has the brains or balls to do. Shut it all down. Except Deadpool. Deadpool actually has a chance to make money, and they are far too far along to stop it now. Everything else should be scrapped. Everything. That includes the absolute shit show that is Captain America 4, that will not have Captain America in it. They have announced reshoots, and speculation is that they will be reshooting nearly the entire movie after disastrous test showings. Rumors suggest that they went hard into politics, making the entire movie an allegory about January 6th, and it did not go well with their test audiences. At this point, they should just save the money and simply Batgirl the movie, and everything else they have planned for the MCU. It is too late to do it if they are not already planning it in Deadpool, but having Deadpool kill the MCU would be the best and coolest solution. Then, put the entire superhero genre on a shelf and leave it alone for 5 to 10 years. The longer the better by this point. We have come to an end of the genre's domination at theaters, and audiences are weary of the dog shit Disney Marvel and Warner Brothers DC have been offering up the last few years. And nothing on the horizon indicates anything will change. The entire slate of upcoming DC movies is a joke, and their new DCU is a complete mess that is likely to do nothing but lose the broke studio even more money. The MCU is almost worse because there are things coming up that could change fortunes. Unfortunately for Disney Marvel, nobody except Disney Marvel stans think Disney Marvel will do anything but completely f*** up the introduction of the Fantastic Four and X-Men into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Especially the X-Men. Everything out of Disney Marvel about the X-Men since Disney bought the Fox rights to the X-Men back has been bad. So, just put it all away and go do other stuff for a while. Go figure out how to do animated family movies that don't piss off families, or sci-fi, or action, or something not superheroes. Since I know they won't do that, what should they do? They should add a quick end scene at the end of the credits for Deadpool that retcons the entire Phase 4 and 5 to not exist. If you want to give Guardians 3 a pass somehow, that would be good. Everything else should be wiped away and start fresh, with Fantastic Four properly cast to look like the comic book Fantastic Four. If they absolutely must have Doctor Doom as a villain, then cast him well also. Doom is an iconic villain of the Marvel Comics, and they better do him right. He should be an actor who is, first and foremost, a he. I know that goes without saying, but you actually have to say it to Hollywood these days because they're all a bunch of freaking idiots. And he should be imposing and show the kind of screen presence that forces audiences to watch as he does villainous things. The kind of charismatic actor like Sean Connery or Al Pacino or Alan Rickman or Denzel Washington were or are. Actors who will create villains that you simply cannot help but like. I have no faith current Disney Marvel can do that. But that is what they should do. What do I think they will do? They will either try to shoehorn in Doctor Doom or another villain to take Kang's place, which seems to be the direction they are going since the writer for Avengers 5 was canned because he was tied up with the whole Kang multiverse thing. Or they will recast Kang, probably with a different black actor who will simply continue where Jonathan Majors left off. In the first instance, there is a chance that might work if superhero fatigue wasn't a thing. If Disney Marvel had not spent the last 4 years doing massive brand damage to Marvel Studios, and if Disney Marvel could manage to cast, write, film, edit, and release a decent to good superhero movie. Superhero fatigue is a thing. Disney Marvel has spent 4 years teaching audiences to expect complete shit from them, and Disney Marvel cannot currently cast, write, film, edit, or release a decent to good superhero movie. The only reason Deadpool has a chance of being good is because Ryan Reynolds has fan credit in the bank and you money and power in Hollywood. If he didn't, Deadpool would have been rated PG-13 from the beginning, like they were trying to do with Blade until very recently. If they went with the recast Kang option, this whole thing is dead. RIP MCU. Multiverses cheapen storytelling by making it so audiences know there are no stakes to the stories. Someone dies? Oh, there's a variant of them in another universe we can bring across to replace them. The heroes lose? Oh, we can slip through the multiverse and add in a little time travel and voila! Heroes victorious. Stories getting a little stale and predictable? Oh, we will just have a variant pop in from another universe to shake things up. Or even a new character from an alternate world where things went to hell in a handbasket. How do I know this? Because this is what they did with multiverses in the comic books. The second Deadpool movie already used this when they brought the multiversal character Cable into the storyline. While they did it in a way that did not detract from the overall story, and Josh Brolin played a very good Cable, it and Spider-Man No Way Home are the exceptions to the rule. And the current crop of writers and directors Disney Marvel is entrusting this stuff to cannot pull off multiverses, as has been shown with Loki Season 2, Multiverse of Madness, Ant-Man 3, and the Marvels. So recasting Kang will simply be a signal that Disney Marvel have learned nothing, and it is full steam ahead into the unyielding face of Mount Superhero Fatigue. They will go up in a glorious ball of fire as hundreds of millions of dollars more get tossed into the sacrificial flames on the altar of Kevin Feige's pride. Well, that is my take on the Jonathan Majors conviction story and what it means for Disney Marvel going forward, vis-a-vis the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If you liked the video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video, and comment down below. It all helps the channel and is much appreciated. I will be doing a full review of Netflix's Rebel Moon Part 1 from Zack Snyder. Until then, tschüss.